maybe you do have the right message, and the person who is coming in looking like you to give the different message is trying to confuse the issue. They don't want the people to know what you are saying, so they're saying a counter narrative, something to at least confuse them so they're not sure what to believe, and if they're lucky, have them believe their side over yours.
Welcome to Mastering Your Message. We believe that you have a message and that people need to hear it. So if you want help getting that message crafted, get that message battle tested, and get that message out there, we can help you get it all together. Visit the website masteryourmessage.net. Give us the info we need and we'll set you up with classes and coaching to help you get your message mastered. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and I want to thank you for joining us for the podcast today. You are a messenger. You have determined that you have a message and began your work to get the message out. But is there confusion in the message you're giving because there's someone else out there doing something similar and giving a similar message to what you're saying? And that similar message is not quite the same, especially since the person who is the messenger for their message is not you or quite like you. Is there a problem with multiple people giving a similar or meant to be the same message? Sometimes there really is. And this comes to a level of essentially confusion where you want to make sure that people are getting the message is being delivered and being received and processed properly. But when you don't know where the message is coming from, it's extremely difficult to confirm that the message is received and received properly. Now, multiple messengers delivering similar or supposedly the same message is something that's very common that we do here, at least in the States. And here in the South, we have a very sort of inside joke about the fact that churches, even though the decline of actual attendance may be going down, there's always seemingly a new church going up or a church using some building everywhere. There's a church around the corner, just like there's a Starbucks around every corner, every Starbucks, and you always have people going to a church. If there's so many churches out there, so many people delivering the more or less same message that a man born 2,000 years ago came with a message from God, then why do you need so many people delivering the message? Well, this is a case where the messenger makes a difference, and the message itself gets tweaked with a basic message, although you can debate that later. This is not the theology class. This is the Master Your Message class. That the message, the teachings of one man and teachings of the greater God in general are told in different ways, different styles, different people, sometimes look and feel of the venue in a way that it connects with the general purpose, the populace that you want to reach. This gets even more complicated once you put in the factor that there are thousands of different religions, actual different religions, and those religions have very different, distinct ways of practicing what they preach. And you think it's just complicated difference between a Baptist and a Southern Baptist. Think about being a Hindu and a Islamist. It's totally different things. So in those ways, you have to think about the message being sent. The messenger is a big part of the message, making sure that you as a messenger or the messenger that you're looking for appeals to the message given and can give the message in a way that you'll listen to. This is also akin to the friend you have that never takes your advice, even though it's always solid, always makes sense. But then some random stranger throws a couple lines out and they'll jump on it immediately, even though you've been saying it for a long time. And we're trying to reinforce it. The reinforcement of the underlying message was put in place by you, but for some reason, the appeal of the stranger was the person that triggered them to act on the actual message. That happens in cases. So many times you'll find yourself trying to teach the same lesson, the same type of lesson, the same value system, if you will. And it takes you teaching to people who resonate with you and another person teaching to people that resonate with other people and other people in general to pass the message, because you can't be everywhere at once. Sometimes it's a long, complicated message that just needs reinforcement by a certain person. And that certain person doesn't necessarily have to be you, but someone like you sharing that message, spreading the words across. This is a case where sometimes you have to check to make sure you're actually teaching the same sermon, singing the same song, going through the same message, more or less the same message, but you are doing something that someone else is doing, and they may do it differently. not necessarily better, but differently, that resonates with a different crowd than resonates with you. But let's turn this concept on its head just slightly, and let's put you in a position where you look exactly like the other person giving out a message. But what you're doing is giving out conflicting messages. The message that you're preaching are not the same. They're not the same principles, not the same value, not coming to the same conclusion. You're basically the anti of the other person, or maybe they're anti of you. But whoever you want to believe is right, the other person must be wrong, because the words they're saying are not matching up with the words you are saying in your message. This becomes a problem for delivering your message because there is confusion in the actual messenger. Someone believes that someone who looks like you, or looks like you as a focus group, if you will, is giving out a message, but then they hear someone like you, or maybe you, give a different message. They're seeing the same people, the same person, if you will, delivering conflicting messages and getting confused on who's saying what and how it's being said and getting lost. There are plenty of reasons why this happens. Maybe you do have the right message, and the person who is coming in looking like you to give the different message is trying to confuse the issue. They don't want the people to know what you are saying, so they're saying a counter narrative, something to at least confuse them so they're not sure what to believe, and if they're lucky, have them believe their side over yours. It's also possible that the message that you're teaching is not so much a direct message, a set in stone, if you will, but an opinion. And your opinion, it may be popular, it may not be, but someone in your same group may not initially go along with your opinion. They may think there's some flaws in your ideas, and they may want to be just as vocal as you in spreading their ideas. They are a messenger in their own right, and they have the right to do that message. And you have the right to do your message as long as you're not imposing your will on someone who doesn't want to take the message in, unless they must be forced to for some reason. That's a whole nother story for another day. But you have the right to give the message that you want to give, even if someone of the similar look wants to give a conflicting message. And shouting them down is not the answer to fixing that, but coming to some sort of conclusion, some sort of way to debate, if you will, to put both messages out there and let people decide for themselves is usually the best way, even if you believe you are the right way. This is a problem we're seeing right now in politics because our political people have divided themselves to go to one corner or the other and are not working towards the middle for compromise. If you fall in line with a certain party, you have to fall in line with certain principles. Okay, that's fine, but not necessarily all the principles are on top of the list. And the other party shouldn't be exactly opposed to all the principles of one party, because then you just have essentially the setup for a fight every time you get together. There's no middle room for access to convey your message and listen to the other message. You don't have to be sold by it, but to go over the points, finer or greater points of the message, there is no compromise. So what you'll find is anyone who is opposed to your message is always looking for a fight. That's not where you want to be. So make sure for this lesson you understand a clear, concise idea. You are a messenger and you have the right to get your message out. But other people also have the right to get out similar messages or totally different messages. And you have to make sure that you are applying your message skills to the right group to make sure that they can get the message that you have to deliver. Because sometimes you are delivering to the wrong people. It's not a matter of the message is invalid. It's literally the messenger is talking to the wrong recipients. And they may be receiving it, but because it's not meant for them, they can't act on it accordingly. So what you do when you find out the message that you are giving is not being given to the right audience, you're actually speaking to the wrong crowd. And that's why you're not getting the message through. Well, we're going to talk about that in the next episode and get deeper into why it's very important to know your crowd and know why they're not reacting to the right thing. In the meantime, thank you for being a part of this episode. Now that I've delivered my message today, check out the website masteryourmessage.net. We're going to help you create, craft, and, of course, master your message. There are free materials as well as paid courses and personal coaching services to choose from, but we can't help you get started on your journey to message perfection until you visit us at masteryourmessage.net. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating or review, and share it with some friends who are also looking to master their messages.